Well, welcome. Here we are again for GLP 10 out of 10, this time with Sooner Routhier. Sooner is an extraordinarily accomplished and well-known lighting designer, owner of Sooner Ray Creative. She's worked with a couple of bands that you may have heard of, like Muse, Coldplay, Motley Crue, Lady Antebellum, Kelsey Ballerini, this tiny little band that may have sold a few albums named Kiss, and many, many others. Game of Thrones Extravaganza, which was just a huge, huge event. And welcome, Sooner, man. Glad to have you here.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure to be with you. So jumping right into this. So what was your first show as a designer?
Yeah, on tour, a band called Chevelle out of Chicago, Leffler Boys. They picked me up out of New Hampshire doing this, I was working locally for a regional sound and lighting company called Rainbow Concert Productions. And they were looking for a lighting designer in the fall of, I think it was 2003 or something. And they took a chance on me. And that was the first show I ever got to design and take on the road. Non-professionally, I did a bunch of high school theater stuff, so dance and stuff. But yeah.
Cool. And you drove trucks and loaded trucks and pulled feeder cable.
I definitely loaded. On that tour, it was trailers. We loaded trailers, and it was like, all right, barren, tie in your feeder every day and standing in puddles of water and all that stuff, full on. I definitely earned my stripes as a tech.
You got your hands dirty.
Oh yeah, sorting gel for Brian Clark at Rainbow. I used to tear apart lights and fix them. Park cans constantly getting zapped by 110, which I actually liked. Woke you up. Yeah, for sure. Before designing, I definitely put my time in learning how to tech things and fix things. I actually miss soldering a lot. I love soldering.
There you go.
Beautiful to that, right? Yeah, I miss doing that.
You'll make jewelry one day.
Maybe I should just go make some jewelry. That might actually help me. It's a good hobby to start. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So in your varied career, what's the most Spinal Tap embarrassing moment on a show that you're willing to talk about?
Yeah, I like to try to forget about those things. So I have a hard time remembering exactly what the moment is, but I think I have one. I had to think about it. So I think it was Toronto, Bon Jovi in the stadium there, the baseball stadium. He was playing, a set list that we had done over and over again. And at the end of one of the songs, for some reason, I feel like they ended it differently than they usually do. And I was on that point, they had always played music basically exactly the same every time. So I was on basically autopilot the whole time. My hands would always do the exact same thing. And I never really knew what they were doing. Sounds crazy to say that, but I was always concerned about spotlights and making sure that John was always perfectly lit for IMAG. And so, I'm just doing my thing. And then they go into the big old rollout. And then I feel like the cap's coming and I hit it when it's supposed to hit. And they kept going or went back into the outro or something, the song. And it took me a second to figure out, oh no, they're still playing. So I had to jump back into the song. And at the end of the song, John was like, "Hey, Sooner, are you out there?" or something like that on the mic. And it's a stadium of just packed to the gills, right? Bon Jovi show. And he's calling me out over mic. And I laugh about it because now that I think about it, I have a really bizarre name. That's a word. So probably people in the stadium, nobody knows who the heck I am in that stadium. So it didn't make a difference because him saying, "Hey, Sooner" is what, you're trying to do something quicker? What is he actually saying over mic? So only the super fans would have known he was calling me out. But yeah, pretty funny.
That's good. That's a good one. So what's the best advice anybody's ever given you professionally or otherwise?
All right. So I have a couple of things. So, Jeff Ravitz once told me for TV lighting, God, what a lovely human being that
He's
guy, right?
so awesome. He's
Um,
one of the good people for sure.
Lovely. If you guys don't know who Jeff Ravitz is, I'm sorry for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's like, I feel like everybody knows who Jeff Ravitz is. He's just like such a lovely human. He told me once on a TV shoot, they brought him in to do some stuff for Daughtry, and I was the lighting designer director at the time. And they brought him in to do this TV shoot, and I was like, oh man, they're bringing in another LD, but I was also excited to learn from him because I knew who he was, and
Mhm.
I was always a fan of his. And I was like, you have any advice? Because I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to TV at all. I've never had to do it, and I'd like to know. And he's like, just make sure there's no black holes in your shots. And like that one piece of like lighting advice just
Mhm.
resonated with me. And it didn't only carry through on TV. I also like I'm a firm believer that like you have to make sure all of the photos that are taken of your show look great for Instagram, because that's where your artist is going to see your work. So I always sort of took that as like when I design a show, I think about, okay, if I'm sitting all the way over here looking at the artist, like, are there black holes? Like, what am I looking at? And then just like not to do with really lighting or anything in general, but I was told at a pretty early on, like probably when I was like 18 or 19 years old, when I started in the business, like, hey, make sure whatever you're doing, you're saving your money and you're financially like like obviously don't spend it, like put it in a savings account for
Mhm.
rainy days. And like through my 20s when I was touring and getting per diem and like making, we make good money on the road. Like, sorry, Cleo. Cleo likes to bark, guys.
It's all good.
Her nickname is the Ferocious Borkster. Maybe she'll come in the frame in a second. You can see her. Anyway, in my 20s, like I just made sure to save when I could. And I got a financial advisor early on. And like, man, especially these days, like that has been like the one thing that has saved my husband and I, especially
Mhm.
through quarantine and just, having this business just kind of go on hiatus for a second. So yeah, that's the other one for sure.
And that's really sound advice. That's good.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So on a professional level, what's your proudest achievement?
Just designing my first show. Like, that's it, right? Like, that was the dream when I was a kid and I was a little lighting nerd, designing dance shows. Like, if I get to design like one show professionally, I've done it and that's it. And, since then it's kind of been like, okay, what's the next goal? What's the next goal? What's the next goal? And these days, like, I mean, my one of my goals is like, I'm going to design a stadium show someday. And then I got the opportunity and I did it. And I continue to do it. And it's exciting. And that's probably a big one. But yeah, I mean, I think honestly, just designing a show in general, just like I got to do that. Like there's a lot of people that have that dream that might not actually get to accomplish it for some reason. And I got it. So that's a big
Awesome.
one. Yeah.
Way, way cool. So what do you and Cleo do in your downtime?
We bark at people. We do. She likes to
Uh,
bark, and then I try to join in with her. No, I mean, I'm pretty simple. Like I read. I love cooking. Cooking is one of my favorite things to do. I love hanging with friends. I'm a pretty. I don't have a whole lot of needs in that department.
mhm.
Honestly, like my job is my identity. My career is my identity. So that's pretty much it. Like as long as I can create and in downtime read or continue to create in some way, shape, or form, I'm good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. So in all the different, gigs you've done and everything over the years, what's the best venue you've ever worked in?
Oh, this is easy. Meadowbrook Farms up in Guilford, New Hampshire, which I think is called something different now. I'm
Mhm.
sure other people have said this, but so that venue actually holds a lot of nostalgia for me because I started working there when it was just a truck stage in a dirt lot. I mean, I used to do shows there like every weekend. I would go up and bring up, we would call it the 120K parquet and rig with all the fixings, you know, like the ACLs and the blinders. And sometimes you got moving lights if you're real lucky. So I'd spend so many weekends there in the summertime, and it was always, that area of New Hampshire is just really beautiful because it's right off of Lake Winnipesaukee. And now it's become this insanely crazy venue that has won numerous awards every year. Like I feel like it gets like best amphitheater or some best small, I don't know what it is, but the team that operates that venue is just top notch. And you know, I grew up there in the business, so now they like serve lobster.
It's the catering. That's why they win the award.
I know, it's crazy. And they have like, I think they even have a pool now, but like it was just always a cool place to go. Like, you know, that crew, that stagehand crew that works up there were some of my good friends, and it was always great to see them. And then once I got to tour through there, you know, it's always like, all right, back home, right? Like that's the hometown gig. So yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's come up more than once. That's it. That's definitely a special. That's a special place.
Yeah.
So in this whole sort of, you know, weird part of 2020, what's the one album or artist that you couldn't do without?
I don't have a specific one. I change all day long when I'm like, we've got a Sonos system in the house. And like, it goes from classical piano to 70s rock to a podcast or, I don't know. I think I just had like the Brothers Osborne on maybe, right before we jumped in. But I'll listen. I mean, love Nine Inch Nails, I basically just jump around. There's not like a specific artist or genre of music or anything. It's, you know, mood and work changes throughout the day of what I'm doing. And like, I always just try to accompany it, you know?
That's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
So what advice, if you could go back in time, what advice would you give a teenage version of Sooner?
Chill the F out. It's okay. Like, God, I feel like I was so uptight. I mean, because I wanted it so badly, right? I just wanted to be in the business. And it wasn't easy in Northern Vermont, like growing up in the middle of nowhere where you had to drive, you know, 3.5 hours uphill both ways in a snowstorm to get to see a show. It wasn't easy to get into the business, and I didn't know a way in, and I didn't understand how to do it. And I just kept pushing and pushing and wanting. And I mean, I'm thankful for that time because I wouldn't be where I am now without it. But, you know, and I definitely still am a very uptight person in some way, shape, or form. I just like have found ways around it and like how to like maintain like some level of chill. So yeah, I think it'd be just that, like, chill out. It's going to happen. You're good. Just let it happen.
There you go.
Hard.
If you could, in kind of that same vein, if you could sit down for a cup of coffee with one person, alive or past, who would it be?
Oh, this is sad, and I'm sorry. But my mom pre-Alzheimer's. She's alive, kicking, and she call her the giggle monster because she giggles all the time. But yeah, my mom for sure. Like, just to have a conversation with her and let her know, like, yeah, this is what I'm doing, and it worked out. And thanks for letting me decide to become a crazy roadie designer person. Thanks. Just that, my mom for sure.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, Alzheimer's sucks.
God bless her. That's awesome, though.
Yeah, my giggle monster. I love her to pieces.
So, okay, last question. Your country's called Sooner for the Olympics, summer or winter. What sport would you be competing in?
I think there's like this sport called like walk running or something, where it's like speed walking. So
making it up.
No, it totally is. I looked it up. I was like,
okay.
I needed to figure out what this is. So, I love working out. Like, that's actually one of my hobbies as well. Typically I'm big into working out. I love boxing and I love running a lot. But in July, I injured my hip and I haven't been able to run since. And it's been like over 2 months. You know, I'm going to physical therapy for it and everything. But yeah, so since I can't run long distance, which would be my thing, like I'd love to do like trail running or something, I would have to be just like a walker.
All right.
Puffing it. My arms swinging. Maybe put the 80s sweatband on.
There you go. I'm sure you'll win.
That would be me.
All right. Well, that was great. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for doing this. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. So
yeah, me too. I want you to just give you big hugs.
Okay, I'll take them big hugs back. All right. All right. Thanks again, Sooner. Be good. Take care.